Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg with Cloudcast Media. You're going to be listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in our community, whether it's food insecurity, it's a homeless, Alzheimer's, arts, education. If it's a big cause, they are involved. And talk about some big shoes we have right across in our studio here. These are some of the iconic community leaders in San Diego, and they have not just been doing this for a few years, they've been doing it for many, many years. I think if I added up all of your work in the community, we may be getting close to about 120, 130 years, which is a good thing. And they're just a wonderful. Joining us is Michael Brunker. He's the district governor for Rotary International District 5340. Also, Gordon Boerner. He is board president for the Kiwanis Club. I've known Gordon, well, we won't say how many years I've known Gordon in that aspect of it, and Jose Cruz, past president of the San Diego Lions Club. And if you think that name is familiar, like Gordon's is and is Michael's, Jose is a frequent guest on our show as the CEO of the San Diego Council on Literacy. Honored to have as my co-host in her 4th year now. Kristen Fogel. She's the executive director of San Diego Writers Inc. Kristen, why don't you go ahead and get us started, and I'll let you start with any person you'd like.
Let's do it, yeah. Let's just sort of go down the way. So, Gordon, can you talk about maybe your involvement with the Kiwanis and also the mission of the organization?
Sure, I will, but probably better to open a little bit with the whole One San Diego thought process.
Let's do it.
That kind of overarches all three of us, and
all
the
right.
reason that we're here in the room today, leading up to what will be Together San Diego on October 24th. The 3 clubs, and we'll certainly hear from all 3 of us, have been around for a long time, as Drew said.
Right.
And we're going to we volunteered to be the litmus test, if you will, the first out of the gate for the Burnham Center for Community Engagement on this project. And October 24th is when it'll happen.
Amazing, yeah, and we just had a podcast about this very topic. So.
Yeah, we've been featuring Gordon. I'm not sure if you knew this. I think Jose does, and I'm not sure if Michael does. So we have Tad Parzan on and his team, Andy, on minimum once a quarter to talk about One San Diego, some aspects. So this is a perfect segue, for that as well in that area. Michael, you were saying that there is a One San Diego event coming up in October. Is that correct?
It is October 24th, and this has been quickly moving. One San Diego just began, and we had a big community forum where probably 500 people showed up. Organizations from all over San Diego County came to really address the issues that we need to be doing to come together in San Diego. So much of it came about with all the hate, all the examples of things, discord that has been happening in political forums, in churches, and then shortly afterwards you had the mosque shooting, and so much hate going on. And so the thought was from the Burnham Center is to bring everybody together to make an impact that's going to be lasting. And then what happened was myself, I've been on the organizing group with One San Diego from the very beginning, but Gordon was there, and we talked about what can we do as service organizations to do more to make an impact. And so as we talked, we said, well, we have to get our good friend Jose Cruz involved too with the Lions Club. And here we are today to talk about how we, on October 24th, will come together and do something that shows unification within these 3 great service organizations. And there'll be more to come. There could be optimists, sur-optimists, whoever's out there doing good in the community. We all want to work together.
Now, is the event on the 24th going to be at BCCA? Do we know where that's going to be, Jose?
Well, it's going to be everywhere.
Okay, but I mean, so what role role will you do? Were you going to do this at the Lions Club, or are you going to talk about this?
We all represent different clubs.
I know, right.
And so our different clubs will decide what kind of activity they want to do on that day.
Got it.
So it could be quite diverse and quite spread out. Just a little bit, I'll piggyback on what the guys are talking about too. Even beyond just some of the division that's out there, there's a lot in the way that we work that's very cultural, competitive. I've heard in a conversation, working in silos and such. Mm-hmm. We're very conditioned to that, and we need to get beyond that. Here you see these 3 service clubs, and there will be more working together, and we want to see more of that in other sectors, and doing things in a way that are sincerely and purely about enhancing quality of life and reinforcing being neighbors and helping each other out. I mean, just every day is just kind of how can we make things better for our program when there's so many opportunities for collaboration.
Well, as I look at the 3 of you folks who have worked with you for quite a while in this, you Gordon in the banking industry, of course, and Jose obviously in literacy, and Michael, from Oceanside PAL to San Diego State Athletics to obviously the YMCA and what you did at the Jackie Robinson YMCA. All of you in your respected careers, so to speak. Collaboration was in your DNA. Isn't always in every CEO's DNA, but it is in yours, which makes you perfect when you're doing things with whether it's Rotary or the Lions Club or Kiwanis in this area. I'll start with you on this, Gordon. Was it tough to sit there and let people know we better collaborate, or we're going to be left at the starting gate?
I actually think, part of the magic of each of the clubs is that they're not in one location. They're represented all over the community. And talking to the leaders of, for instance, the 30-plus Kiwanis clubs across San Diego, some of the clubs are really large for all 3 of us. Some of the clubs are smaller with less infrastructure, but they all have a tie to their local micro community or larger community and wider regional community. So there's just going to be on the 24th, for example, there's going to be leaders inspiring local micro community service happening, the magic all across the region, basically, but in different pockets, and they'll have diversity. The projects might not all look exactly the same.
Now, are you going to take the lead on this, and I'll pivot over to Jose and Michael on this one, but I'll start with you, Gordon, to say, here's what we're looking at. Here's what OneSD is doing. There's 4 billion things on the list, or whatever the number is, and we're going to do this out of our Kiwanis Club in Scripps Ranch or whatever the case may be, and then Kiwanis North County will do X, Y, and Z. How would that be divvied up specifically with Kiwanis Club and maybe as a whole deal, other service clubs?
Yeah, so specific to Kiwanis, the downtown club's going to have kind of an all-day event. We'll start downtown because that's where we originated from. We'll gravitate up into the Kearney Mesa area with multiple events from the morning to the evening, and we're going to give a list, a palette, if you will, to each of the clubs of here's some suggestions of things to consider. And part of the magic is we're going to encourage them to reach out in their local community, be it La Jolla, Escondido, El Cajon, to reach out to their local Rotary and their local Lions Club. And if they can all coordinate together, 1 + 1 + 1 equals 6, 7, 8, ...
Right, exactly. Jose, and same thing with the downtown, Lions Club as well. Or how many Lions Clubs are there in San Diego County?
About 49 or 50.
Right.
Yeah, and they're just all over the place, real spread out. But yeah, I'm listening to these guys too. So, like I said, this is the first time around. So I'm getting ideas right now, figuring out how to play this out. And for the first year, of course, it's not anything we have experience with, but yeah, it'll be pretty much the same thing. It's just really communications, and as Gordon said, responding to how our clubs are different. So you're going to see different levels of engagement. Maybe not everyone being engaged, and then some being engaged in very, very strong ways.
Right. And so, Michael, when you hear these stories here, are you folks, at least we'll talk about you 3 right here, downtown, the Rotary and then the Lions Club and Kiwanis, will you share, this is what we're planning on doing from a Rotary standpoint, and so Jose can share with his Lions Club, this is what Rotary's doing, and then you'll share that with Gordon on with the Kiwanis, and then vice versa, so everyone sort of knows what everyone's doing, or not necessarily?
Drew, you nailed it.
Okay.
I mean, right now, and that's how simple this is. It's not complicated, and so the bottom line is we just want to do something, and all of us should be doing something. The beauty of this, and Gordon mentioned it earlier, it's not just the clubs and its membership who are already doing things. There could be a number of clubs right now, Kiwanis, Lions, Rotary, on that date will be doing something, but nobody knows. So how can we publicize those activities? How can we let Kiwanis, Lions know they can join us? Or better yet, the community can join us, because we all want to extend and expand our reach into the community. God knows there's so much more we need to be doing, and so many projects that need to be out there. There could be a project that has nothing to do with Kiwanis, Lions, or Rotary that we can send our volunteers to, and that's One San Diego on that day. And so as we go forward with this, there will be a repository of every activity that will be listed. The One San Diego will have that on the website. People can know exactly where to go and what time to show up and how to volunteer and how to make all that happen. But the beauty of this is, what do you do afterwards? How do you continue and sustain this? We don't want this to be just a one and done. We want to be sure that everybody knows they can serve others before self, and that's what Rotary's been doing for so many years.
Yeah, there's no question about that. We come back from break. I know, Kristen's got a whole bunch of questions for each of you in this vein as well. And then to Michael's part, as all of you have been on the show before, so you know the routine is, what can our listeners do to support your efforts? And go to the OneSD website, go to the Kiwanis website, go to the Lions Club or Rotary, and we're going to tell you what's going to happen on October 24. And wherever you are in this county, from the north, from the east, from the south and the west, you'll be able to find a place. We're going to be right back with our good friend Jose Cruz, past president of the San Diego Lions Club, and Gordon Boerner. He is the board president for Kiwanis Club of San Diego, and Michael Brunker, district governor, Rotary International District. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We'll be right back after this very short break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We are back with our friends from the local service clubs talking about what will be happening on October 24th as part of One San Diego. You've heard that name with Tad Parson, who was on last week. He is the president and CEO of the Burnham Center for Community Advancement, better known as BCCA, joined by my co-host Kristen Fogel, Executive Director of San Diego Writers Inc. And Michael wanted to make sure Jim Bakke didn't get upset. He's not quite the district governor yet. It'll be 2027. Jim is in that position right now. Kristen, what questions do you have for this esteemed group of community leaders?
Yeah, many. And a point of clarification. So we know about how many Kiwanis, how many Lions, about 60-ish in San Diego County Rotary clubs. Am I right?
There are over 60 Rotary and Rotaract clubs, 2,500 members.
Okay, amazing. I guess just to start, what else is going on with One San Diego, or what got you fired up originally about all collaborating on this event? Yeah, I was like,
One of the opportunities for us is we are seeing a decline in terms of service club membership. It's just that times have changed, and
Yeah.
so one, this is very appropriate for us to be doing this. This is all about service. If you look at our missions, I mean, it is basically service to the community, service before self,
Yes.
et cetera. We want more people to know about our service club, so that's kind of our
Yes.
other agenda. The outcome will be fantastic, and at the same time, maybe a byproduct will be after everyone has been engaged the way they have been, climbing into some of these activities, we will see more people going into these clubs and investing in these groups that are very community-based and very much about people joining the work that we're doing to help people in need.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because though I want to highlight the great work you're doing together, I'm curious for those of us that maybe know a little bit more about one service organization than another. What are some initiatives that are coming up or things that are unique to your particular service club that you can kind of shout out to these potential new members or people in the community that just don't know a lot about your particular service organization?
You know, what made it real exciting for me is Tad Parzan is a member of San Diego Rotary Club number 33.
Okay.
We're the 33rd oldest club in the world. 13, and so I was the president of the club. Tad came up with this initiative. This was not even happening anywhere. And he came up with this whole concept about One San Diego, and he approached me when I was president of the club and asked, could Club 33 be involved with this? And knowing I was going to get into the district governor line, I said, why can't we have all the Rotary clubs involved? And so it just shows the power of one idea and how not only Tab, but Malin Burnham, our good friend Malin at the Burnham Center, they wanted to make this happen. It's been funded. It's been staffed. Andrew Blum, who's the coordinator of all of what's happening right here, it's getting people involved. And a couple of years ago, when I was president of Club 33 in 2023, 2024, the three organizations had what they called a community service celebration. It was in September. And so, we get a lot of ideas about what we could do. And so I contacted Gordon, I contacted Jose, and I said, well, why can't we do something together on that day? And we did. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. And what we did is we went to San Diego High School. We put on a forum for all those students and talked about not our clubs, but the youth clubs that we have. So Rotary has Rotaract, Lions has Leo clubs, and then Kiwanis has Key Club. And so we presented on it. Optimus was there as well. They had the Joy clubs. And we talked to an assembly of all the students on how they can join school-based programs there. And it's that simple how you can make something happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, with all of this, and you brought up something, Michael, that I know certainly Gordon and Jose get, and Tad gets it from BCCA and all the other wonderful service clubs and the folks. It's you can do all these great things on October 24, and if nothing happens on October 25, then did we even do something on October 24? So being mindful on that. Jose, is there some type of a strategy that you folks, and either in your individual clubs or collectively, are going to make sure we're not going to let this thing go? We're going to keep this on the top of everyone's radar. Is there some type of a communication device that's going to continue this aspect?
I'll take that as a suggestion, Drew.
He's good at that.
Yeah. And looking, right now, of course, we're very focused on October 24th.
Right.
But I think it's important for all of us, all the service clubs, to communicate, how successful the outcomes, et cetera, and really just to continue to bang on that message about service and opportunities to help out on a daily basis. It's just. It's just needed, that's all.
Right. And, Gordon, is there something that jumps out? Listen, there's many, many important issues, whether it's education, whether it's seniors, whether it's the environment. I mean, listen, there's a whole host of them that we can be doing. Affordability, my goodness. We spend the next 16 days talking about those here. Is Kiwanis, is there some that raise to the top of Kiwanis? They're all important, but some are more important than others because of the DNA of Kiwanis, or not necessarily?
Yeah, great question, Drew. So Kiwanis is focused primarily on youth. And the definition of youth doesn't just stop at age 18, because a huge focus of the expanded definition of youth in Kiwanis is that 18 to 26-year-old, particularly the foster youth, lived experience folks that age out and have to basically start their adult transition life, if you will. And, highlighting back to your previous question, I mean, after October 24th, the Kiwanis clubs, particularly the downtown club, but all of them, we still have stuff lined up for October, November, December, for instance, going out to just in time for foster youth, to do My First Home for the lived experience that are looking for that, college scholarship programs and things like that, where we're kind of building the leaders of tomorrow. And so Kiwanis is going to continue to be focused with youth as the lead on that, and we're really hoping to use our key clubs to help bring the youth into this October 24th initiative to kind of get that age diversity as well.
Yeah, and Michael, when it comes to those, the follow through on this, obviously you spent a lifetime of doing those things at Jackie Robinson Wine. Everywhere else you've touched the Brunker footprint on in this aspect of it. I know you're going to be very mindful in this. Are you going to be surprised? I think I know the answer to this already, and the answer is going to be no. That boy, we never thought of that as an issue. And I didn't realize that was an issue. We all know about affordability. We all know about isolation. We know about literacy, youth, and all that. But do you think there's going to be something that's going to come out on October 24? I never really gave some thought to that.
Absolutely. And I'll say this, too, about Rotary. Around the world, Rotary clubs are involved in what they call a 3-year rolling goal action plan. We've all been asked to do this. And what it is what can we do to expand our reach? What can we do to raise more funds for polio eradication around the world, not just in this country, but around the world? What can we do to help serve others before self and get members involved? But more importantly, it all begins with a community needs assessment. And so do we have a strategic plan? When I ask all the clubs right now, do you have a strategic plan? Does Kiwanis have one? Does Lions have one? And I did that at the Y. That's why we built a brand new Jackie Robinson YMCA, right, because the community told us we needed a bigger and better YMCA. I heard an interview you had in here right before where you talked about Lori McGrath. Right. Lori McGrath is why they have the McGrath family YMCA in East County, because Absolutely. Of her philanthropy and generosity. You see, and so if it wasn't for the generosity of this community to build a state-of-the-art Y in Southeast San Diego at 805 and Imperial, we wouldn't have one. But we have to listen to what the community tells us they need, and our clubs need to pivot and adopt and be able to serve them like we never have before.
Well, and we all know this. It's amazing when everyone's rowing in the same direction, how fast you get there in this aspect, instead of pulling in different areas of it. And I think this is great. And if October 24 is the first annual, OneSD, everyone get together, kumbaya, and then let's look at 2027. Man, look what we just did from October 24, 2026, and it builds upon this stuff. And we all know this stuff works, in this aspect of it. So I really applaud what you folks are doing, longtime community leaders, of course, working with One San Diego and the BCCA and with Tad and with Andy on this, and everybody else as well. I'm going to be real curious because we're going to have, we'll probably have, I might even have you guys come on when I bring Tad back on after October 24 and have you assess how this was. Yeah. You guys are all three very good at saying, yeah, we were good here, but let me just tell you the 45 things we're going to do different in 2020.
Well, hold on now, Drew. Since you asked the question,
yeah,
let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If there was one thing you think all three of us can do better to serve San Diego and Imperial County, what would that be? Well,
I think, listen, you guys do a good job on it, but I'm a communication guy, as you know, Michael, from yes. My role at the Union Tribune and so forth. I think people can do a better job communicating and letting folks know, and we've seen this so many different times where boy, I wish I only knew that Kiwanis was doing X, okay? Or that the Lions was doing Y, my goodness. Or Rotary was doing this. And listen, you guys have all good websites. You have stuff out there. But how do we find a mechanism that is going to really inform people of it? So I think communication, it never stops. You can't do it once, and we'll see you in about a month or in that aspect of it. You guys do a good job, but I think there's always a room to do a better job in that aspect. So there's my 2 cents, and I can get change back if you want.
Yes. Well, no one communicates better than Drew Schlosberg.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that.
That's right.
Hear, hear.
You're very kind to say that. So, to our good friends, Michael, Gordon, and Jose, thank you for what you have done for many years, what you're going to continue to do, moving forward, and working with this One San Diego and October 24. So for our listeners, be looking at those different service organizations. Go to BCCA. You're going to have, there will be no excuse that you cannot get involved at some level. But thank you for what you've been doing for this great effort. I can't wait to see the results. Kristen, any final comments?
No, thanks for the good work you're doing, and we look forward to hearing how it went.
Absolutely. And to our audience, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.